Hi, I'm David Lacey. I'm here today at Info Security 2008 in London, and I'll be, over the next few days, interviewing Ray Stanton of BT and Bruce Schneier. I'll be asking them about BT services and where the future of information security is going. It seems that all of the telephone companies are piling into security, acquiring security companies, building up huge capabilities. What's the synergy between telecommunications and security?
I think this is a really interesting topic because telecoms and security has been intrinsically linked for over 100, 150 years in the length of time that telephony companies have actually been in existence. With the move of telephony companies now into the enterprise space and more into working with the large corporations, there's this inherent need for more security services. So it's away from the traditional protecting the infrastructure of the core telephony business, but more around the data services. So it's core to what they do. You look at all of the telephony companies and you can see that they've got this pedigree. And now what they're doing is extending this pedigree into their new services that they're working towards as part of their core strategies. And that is it's an intrinsic built service, and basically people should be looking for more and more from operators like BT, AT&T, Cable and Wireless, because it's what they should do. They should build the security into the network.
But you're a very big organisation. Are you looking to sell to big companies like yourselves? How can you relate to a small, medium-sized organisation?
That's a great question because we actually operate at both ends, if you want. In fact, all ends of it, because we operate with our consumers, so we provide services, in terms of actually telephones and broadband services and security services via partners like Yahoo at the consumer level. But also we operate in the B2B space, in the business-to-business, in the small and medium business enterprise space. So we do actually do package solutions, and we've got some great services there. I was talking earlier on about the size of my business, and 5% of that already, and I've got a very large business, comes from the B2B and the small and medium enterprise, because it's about having small package solutions that fit for them, that work. They don't have to mess about. It's not complex. I hate this term in a box, but it's in a box, and that's what they want. So we're actually providing services, security services at all three levels: consumer, small, medium, large, business to business, and enterprise level.
Now, you're very experienced in voice and data integration, convergence. What can you advise a company to do? How should they go about this?
I think it's an excellent question because everybody's facing this at the moment. I mean, you're aware, I think, of the BT 21st Century Network, which is our rollout of our global MPLS environment, our move from all of our services to voice and data over IP-based infrastructure. And that experience is where we're investing £10 billion. And what people should be doing, organisations, the first thing we say is understand the problem you're trying to fix. What is the problem you're trying to fix? What's the business problem? Is it that you are an organisation that's operating in 130 companies around the world, you need this instant access and you need it securely? Or is it that actually you're like a branch network where you operate in a national environment, and what you need to do is operate with high quality of service, but you're converging your services. You want to come down. I mean, we're looking at saving over £1 billion a year in operations costs through the introduction of this environment, our 21st Century Network. But what that means is there's other things we need to do, and security is an actual enabler around that. It is an imperative, and we see that. That's why we're building in the cloud services into it, and it becomes part of the fabric of converged services. So the first thing is, before anything else, is what is the problem you're trying to fix? Is it a business problem? Is it an operations problem towards your bottom line in terms of cost? Or is it that you have got not one standard? You don't have one standard of infrastructure, and I want to standardize my infrastructure. I standardize it, I can standardize my services, and then I can get on with operating my company as I need to. But understand that problem, then you can move on to the other things. One of the things we've seen is that customers don't always understand the true problem they're trying to fix.
So what are the big challenges and problems this year? What are the big ticket issues? Is it people? Is it technology? Is it processes?
Well, it's a great question. I'll tell you why I think it's a great question. In terms of my personal goal this year is to drive people back to basics, something that you and I have talked about over the years, and it is about back to basics, people, process, technology. And I'll bring this to life with an example. last year the floods, and I would ask actually the viewers of this, I'd set them a challenge. Last year the floods, they affected many organisations across the country and across the UK, and let's be specific about the UK. What's changed since then? Because an example was Gloucester County Council, and they've gone on record, and this is very public, they hadn't actually planned for flooding in their business continuity plans, and they had to move their buildings, they stopped services, they shut down everything, and then they, by chance, remembered that actually they had some services remotely hosted by one of their business partners, but they hadn't planned for a flood. Now that is basics, that is the basics of putting in place business continuity plans. So it is people, it's process, it's technology. But my challenge would be, and let's take that as an example, what is different for those organisations this year? We're in April, we're very close to the start of summer, UK summer, the floods are coming, I'm sure. What's different? Are people going to be caught out again next year? So for me, and what we're focusing on, it's about back to basics, because if you get the basics right, then everything else falls into place.
Thanks very much, Ray. That's great advice.